Happy New Year, everyone. Cathy Sabater, mortgage planner and proud veteran, here with Frank Powell, real estate broker. And we're here today to talk about the 5 new real estate laws that are affecting California in 2026. Hey, Frank.
Hey, how are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So there's 5 of them. I'm going to list them off, and then Frank's going to give us a good explanation for all of them. Okay, you got mandatory disclosures of digitally altered listing photos. He'll make it in plain English. Seller disclosure of third-hand smoke, and guess what? Vaping. Huh. Rental habitability standards, prohibition on unsolicited purchases on certain fire-affected zip codes, and lastly, transient-oriented housing upzoning. So Frank's going to break it down because that's one thing I like about Frank. Frank, what they're talking about, this digitally altered listing photos.
Well, those are the photos that you see on the MLS, the multi-listing service, and that's the platform when you're searching. If you go on Realtor.com or anywhere you want to search for houses, you're going to see the house and you're going to see the photos. So with AI, we found out that many people are enhancing it a little bit too much, from putting palm trees where there's not really palm trees, to taking out telephone poles where there are telephone poles, to making it a dreamy landscape where it's really not too dreamy. And so what they're saying is, if you're going to take a photo, make sure it represents what you're taking a photo of. There's no altering. The only thing you can alter is the lighting and some of the color contrast. But other than that, keep it simple, keep it real, and don't take pictures of palm trees that are not there, or a sunset you don't even have a view. So it gets pretty ridiculous. But even adding too much digital furniture or removing a wall, people have done. So all these are not good. So they put their foot down again, say, be real, be transparent, and don't trick the public. So it's all about transparency. So take the photo. You can hire a professional photographer, and if you call your association or Google it, you can find people who take photos of real estate, houses for sale, and make sure that they also understand the law, where I don't want you to take photos and start making it like you're the best photographer in the world by enhancing it. That's not real, that's not true, it's not fair, so don't do it.
And that's interesting because I know a lot of buyers, that's what they say. They say, hey, I looked at these photos, they were beautiful, and then they get to the house, they're like, what happened? What happened?
The best thing is the best thing is when they get to the house and they say, wow, the house looks better than the photos, as opposed to the photos look better than the house. That's a nice surprise.
Well, I'm glad that they installed that new rule for them. And then let's talk about this third-hand smoke and vaping.
Well, third-hand smoke. So usually people talk about second-hand smoke. Hey, I can smell smoke, and I'm not smoking. So when you're selling a house and they go, hey, I kind of smell something in here. Is there, or you don't even have to smell anything. Does anyone, do you smoke? And they say, no, I live here. My wife lives, we're not smokers. But what they don't seem to tell you is, but by the way, every Thursday night we have a poker game, and 20 people in here smoking cigars and smoking cigarettes, and also vaping, because they found out that vaping does leave a residue that is deemed environmentally unsafe. So if you have anyone smoking in your house, you got to disclose it. And there's remedies to get rid of the smoke. There's remedies to get rid of it all, but just disclose it. Even if your neighbor comes over every day and smokes a cigarette and you don't mind, and that cigarette smoke is getting in your house, you got to disclose. Yeah, every once in a while I have friends that smoke, but relatively no one smokes here. Just be honest, be open, write it down. The agents should write that down as well. So what the agents have to put down as far as disclosures, so that people buying the house are well informed that there has been vape in here. There has been, weed's legal. If people are smoking weed or whatever they're smoking, just make sure you say, yeah, we've had smokers in this house.
So that's interesting, that third-hand smoke. So I like the fact that they're taking care of that right now.
Right.
The next one is rental habitability standards have been expanded.
It used to be an option where if you're going to rent, you have a house, you want to rent it out, you want to make some extra cash, you put the renters in there. You don't have to have a refrigerator. They have to get their own refrigerator. Not anymore. You got to provide a refrigerator and heating. Remember that heating. And heating is not just plugging in something you get at the Lowe's or Home Depot, where you plug in a heating device and it heats up. They need something that is with the house. So whether it's a furnace, a forced air unit, a floor heater, it has to be attached to the house. So you have to provide heating. You have to provide the appliances that and also a stove. So you can't just put a little plug-in, hot plate. It has to be a cooking surface. It has to be operational. It has to be a refrigerator where they can store their food. If you don't have that, You have to get them, put them inside that unit before you rent it out. So it helps out the renters that come there. Now, if the renter decides to break the refrigerator, I don't know, kicks the door, whatever way you can break a refrigerator, and you could say, hey, you got to pay for that. But when they first move in, you got to provide them a working, functional stove and refrigerator and heat.
The next one is prohibition on unsolicited purchases on certain fire-affected zip codes.
So that's a weird one, right? So think about who could that? What are they talking about? Well, what happened was in the devastating fires in the Pacific Palisades that burnt thousands of houses and hundreds of commercial structures, basically wiped out the whole neighborhood. So there was people calling up the homeowners saying, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars right now, cash, or write you a check. Just give me your house, and oh, you don't have fire insurance? We'll write you a check. And they're taking advantage of the people that have just watched their whole history burn down, their house. They're devastated. They're a predator, I believe, and that should not happen. So it's unsolicited. So if you call someone and you want to sell your house, that's different than getting a cold call from somebody saying, hey, let me purchase your house. They found out that was going a long way in the Pacific Palisades. A lot of older people were getting ripped off. So they put an end to it. And now those people can be sued and commit violations that are now state law. So don't do it. Don't take advantage of people in fire zones that have their whole community burned down and try to buy their property for pennies on the dollar because you don't think they have fire insurance. Because also when a governor declares a state of emergency, there's a lot of state agencies that will help you through that. So make sure you're well aware of what you get and don't keep a couple $100,000 on, throw that away because somebody offers you cash. Stop, think, find out who's calling you. You can call real estate attorneys, you can call real estate brokers, but do your research before another predator takes advantage of another person that's in distress.
Thanks for that breakdown. That's very thorough. The last one is, this is controversial. So for those people, once we do this, we want you to comment it below. Transit-oriented housing upzoning. Yeah,
that's in neighborhoods now. Okay, so do you remember last year or last 10 years we've been talking about we have a homeless crisis, we have a housing crisis, we have a home affordability crisis. There's a lot of crises going around here. So we come up with solutions, or the government and your local state representative comes up with solutions. And one of them is if we're going to have to increase the density, we have to build more apartments so we can have more affordable living or affordable rents. We have to have you have to live by what's called a corridor, a transit corridor, which means transit has to be close to you. A bus stop has to be within a certain distance, a train, and anything that you can walk to. So what they're doing right now, and if you look around San Diego, you'll know what's going on once I tell you this. You ever notice they're making a lot of bike lanes all over, and you think it's because, certain politicians like to ride bikes? Well, that's not the case. It's because in order to have these high density zones where you can build big apartments without the parking necessary, they have to fall in these transit corridors. So in order to qualify for that, and that's where the state can supersede the city, and they can say, yeah, we understand that you don't want somebody to build ADU, which is really 8 units in their backyard. The state can go above that and say you can still do that construction. That's still big in 2026. They're still pushing for ADUs and junior ADUs. But what they're doing right now is creating bike lanes and bus lanes close to you. And that's so they could do the next step is, now that they have that, they qualify for making apartments up and down certain, you'll see it like on Claremont Mesa Boulevard, you'll see it on Governor Drive, they're trying to push for it. You'll see it on major thoroughways where you're looking like, why are they putting all these bike lanes? It doesn't make sense. And they're reducing the traffic. Well, in the big picture, it does make sense because they want people to take transportation and not have vehicles. They want you to get on a bus, an Uber, a trolley, a train. And so they're making these corridors. And why do you need to know about that? Because if you do fall under one of these areas, then your land value is maybe more, with your house than you think. So these people want to buy it and they want to build, and you're able to get a lot more money than just like a 3-bedroom, 2-house on a piece of land. Now you have a 3-bedroom, 2-house on a 10,000 square foot lot. They look at the lot size now, and if they can enhance that lot size, your evaluation of your property is much higher than you believe. So that's why you want to have a trained broker to make sure they check those zones to see if you qualify for that. And it just helps the buyer to get more money out of it, and investors can build, and then we can have more people have housing. That's the big issue, is build more so we can lower the cost of living, which hopefully that happens. We're still optimistic about that.
Sure.
But
Well,
some
Frank,
people don't like it because they like San Diego the way it is. And I was born and raised here. I like it the way it is, but also know that if I want my kids, or to move back to San Diego, we got to build some more housing, and these people that are not making livable wages are just, they don't know what to do. So we got to help each other. We can't just be NIMBYs, not in my backyard. Sometimes you have to be a YIMBY, which means yes in my backyard, and try to cooperate with the overall community. And don't look negatively on it. Sometimes it's positive. It can enhance your whole environment, make it easier on you to go to the store, to go to places, to take transit. And once they come with autonomous cars, is that what they're called? Self-driving cars, whatever that word is. It'll be a lot easier. So that's what we're looking to in the future. So it looks bright. 2026 is more about transparency. It's not about politics. It's about helping the people, about helping the consumer, making sure you don't get ripped off. And in order to do that, call yourself a broker that you trust, or a real estate attorney, or look it up, but do a little bit more due diligence. And for those agents out there and brokers selling properties, make sure you know what you're getting involved in, and protect your client post sale, which means you don't want them to get sued a year after you sell it. So you got to know what the laws are, so it doesn't come back to bite them. Your job as a fiduciary is to protect your client well above and beyond you. So make sure you do that, and you are their bodyguard. So take care of them.
great. That was a wonderful breakdown of the 5 new real estate laws affecting California in 2026. And Frank, if they needed to contact you, what phone number should they call you at?
858-361-2488. 858-361-2488. I'll give you a call. I don't charge. Just let me know if you need any help.
Great. Thank you so much, Frank.
Okay.